Hello, and welcome to Fender Play Live. I'm your host, Eugene Edwards, coming to you live from Los Angeles. On today's episode, we're going to answer the question, why should I learn the ukulele? You players out there know there's a lot more to the instrument than meets the eye, but for you guitarists and bassists, you might find that the ukulele adds a unique new perspective to your musical repertoire. We've got a very accomplished guest here to explain what we mean, and as always, we will be giving away some Fender gear, so stick around. Now, helping me out today is the fabulous Abe Lagrimas Jr. Abe.
Hey everybody, Eugene, how are you?
I am so well. I'm so grateful to have you here today. I've watched some of your videos, and I know that you've, you're just the master of this stuff. And just my research on this, just watching you play, you've already opened me up to the whole thing. So Abe is for those of you who don't know, he's a multi-instrumentalist and a 15-year veteran player you're a jazz drummer, vibraphonist, and of course a ukulele player. In fact, in addition to teaching ukulele for the past 12 years, Abe has written instructional books on the instrument, so we think he's a great candidate to show us more about the instrument. Tell us what you're playing today and demonstrate it, please.
I'm playing the Fender Rincon, and it's a tenor size, and it sounds like this.
No, really.
You want me to play it?
Yeah. See, I already knew you couldn't do. I didn't know you could do the ukulele, right? So we're already deep into this thing. I would like to thank you for helping us with today's topic. I have to. I'm a guitarist that occasionally picks up the uke when asked, but I haven't really considered exactly exploring it any further. So I'm personally looking forward to exploring this with you today. If you don't mind, let's kick things off though with some playing.
Sure.
How about a little bit of an old classic? Now, this is the only song that would make when my daughter was an infant, it's the only thing that would make her smile for a few months. So this is You Are My Sunshine.
All right, here we go.
That's the sound of millions of hearts breaking out there, Abe. So that's fantastic. Let's dig into that arrangement a little bit. But first off, I want to know, why did you discern to learn the ukulele in the first place?
Well, interesting story. I actually picked it up as a joke at first. I guess but before that, my background. I'm originally from Hawaii. I grew up there, but I grew up playing the drums. But the ukulele I was always surrounded by it. So when I picked it up later in life, I went to school in the East Coast. I went to Berkeley College of Music, and it was really just missing home, really. And so I didn't get a chance to, make that trek going home, while going to school a lot. So I brought Hawaii to me, and how I did that was my buddy of mine who was also from Hawaii. He was a bass player, but he also owned an ukulele, but he never played it. So I picked it up and we started jamming, and that's kind of how it started.
Interesting. And then coming from a drummer vibraphone background, you were studying drums and vibes?
Right. Yeah, I was studying music education as a drum set principal at Berkeley.
Did you find the ukulele starting to creep into, into your musical repertoire?
Right. So, like when I was growing up in Hawaii, I only associated the ukulele with Hawaiian music. But when I was studying music, I was studying jazz, so jazz drums. So I initially approached the ukulele as a jazz instrument. So I was learning, jazz standards, learning how to improvise. So my approach to it was a little bit, different than what most people play when they start playing ukulele.
If I were walking down the halls of Berkeley and walking by the practice rooms, what would I hear?
Oh man,
a young A playing. No, look, play some jazz on the ukulele for me.
So okay, I'll play a little bit.
And then I would have grabbed a teacher and said, "Somebody's playing ukulele. I swear I heard it." So that's fantastic. It reminds me, the lap steel, of course, originates really in Hawaii, and then it comes to the States, and then it gets eventually associated with country music. So it's not that different. Why not take this island instrument and apply it to an American form, another, North American form, I should say. Right. So let's talk about that version of "You're My Sunshine," though. Yeah. We often think of the uke as a chordal instrument. Again, we just strumming chords while you sing, but you're using it as a solo instrument.
Right. Talk about the main reason for that is is because I'm not a singer, so I don't sing. So I have no choice but to play the chords and the melody, all at the same time with the uke. So like I said, when I was first learning how to play tunes, I was jazz standards and things like that. I was naturally trying to figure out how to orchestrate everything, so play the chords and then add the melody at the same time. So with that melody, I play a high G ukulele. Some of you out there who do play ukulele might notice that if you go to a music store, you might find ukuleles with a high G or some with a low G. But I play a high G, and the great thing about a high G is you can put the melody on the high G string there. So with the melody, and then that melody right there, you can do it all in one position.
Right. So you're finding the melody skating across the chords as much as possible. So that way you can transition from melody to chord.
Exactly. Easily. Right. Yeah. Create a chord melody version of that song.
And that's my favorite form of guitar playing is chord melody. So to hear you do it on uke is a real special treat for me. We've got some really good questions coming in already. And yeah, I was going to say, if anybody has questions or comments, please drop them. But apparently you guys you're ahead of us. Daniel Bobke asks a common question. I struggle sometimes with certain chords on guitar because of the size of my fingers. What does a guy like me do on the uke? I don't know if this means his fingers are particularly large or particularly small, but you probably addressed it either way.
Yeah,
as a teacher.
I hear that, there's a very common question. I hear it all the time. It's a great gateway. If for those of you who want to learn how to play guitar, but might have a hard time at first because of either the neck might be a little bit too big, or sometimes it's also the steel strings. It might hurt your fingers. With a uke, the neck is smaller. 4 strings as opposed to 6 strings on a guitar, and the strings are all nylon, so they're a little bit easier and softer on the fingers. So if you find that's something that you're struggling with when learning how to play guitar, you might want to maybe go from ukulele to guitar. And a lot of the shapes transfer over, so that's the good thing. It's not completely different. Right.
And then what about if they have particularly big fingers?
I actually have quite long fingers. Yeah. So I haven't seen that much of a problem. With It's just a matter of finding the right size ukulele. If you have if you think you have big fingers, maybe start with a tenor, which is this size, and it might feel more comfortable on your hands as opposed to a soprano. So my fingers are quite long. When I play a soprano, it feels very, very tiny to me. So experiment between a soprano concert is the one in between a soprano and a tenor, and then a tenor is the
so explore a variety of sizes, and you'll find the one that fits.
Exactly,
it's
yeah.
Sort of a Goldilocks answer. Okay, so a lot of our viewing audience out there are guitarists and bass players. We know that uke has been favored by lots of guitarists, like John Lennon, George Harrison, Elvis played one in the movies, Taylor Swift, Eddie Vedder. But we don't often think of the uke having the same capabilities as the guitar. So let's explore that, Abe. How about a guitar riff on the uke?
Oh, sure. Okay, sounds good. Mm-hmm. Let's do the song Float On by Modest Mouse. Little line,
It works. It works.
Yeah.
So, oh wait, I think we've got a question coming in. No, I'll hit this topic here. What are some of the other techniques on the uke that people tend to think are only for guitar?
You could do, like tricks, for example, like hammer-ons and pull-offs that, for those of you who play guitar are familiar with slides and hammer-ons and pull-offs. You could do, techniques like that. And you could play lead lines too, just like a guitar, The difference when I do bends though on a uke, you can kind of only, if you bend it, the furthest you could reach is a half a step. I think that's probably the main difference when you bend a note. I guess another thing is just the amount of sustain, because the length of the string is a lot shorter than a guitar. It doesn't vibrate as much as a guitar string, so you kind of have to deal with a shorter sustain. So when you do like a hammer-on or pull-off, you really gotta.
It's gotta be quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Two questions. Zunier or Zunier, I like to think that they're Zunier, on YouTube asks, do you use any alternate tunings with the uke?
I have. Sometimes I tune down like a half step or even a whole step. I've written 2 songs where I actually tune down, and then I also do my own cover version of Nirvana "Smells Like Teen Spirit," where I tune down my G down to an F. But other than that, I kind of keep it, with the traditional G, C, E, A, which is the open C6 chord. And then I know ukulele players who grew up in Canada. It's actually quite big in Canada. A lot of them tune up a whole step. So instead of G, C, E, A, it's A, D, F sharp, B. So it's actually a lot brighter sound. Yeah, so it's a D6 chord. So this would be their open.
I would just do the Beatles' "Fool on the Hill" over and over again.
Just keep going.
Just with a D6 chord. Now, and Tom O is asking, can you use a slide on a ukulele?
You can. I've done it before. I'm not that good at it. I don't have it with me right now, but you could pretty much do what you normally play on a guitar. You could pretty much transfer it over on the uke. It's just going to sound different. So if you're not used to that, try it out and see if it sounds good to you.
There you go, Tomo. Just pick up a slide, try it, make your adjustments, and you've created your own thing. So now you mentioned how it doesn't have a lot of sustain. What about adding effects to the ukulele? Because again, most people would think effects are exclusive to guitar or bass, but you can add them to uke. Can you demonstrate a little bit of that?
Right. So I got right now. I'm going through just a little bit of reverb and some delay, but I'll turn up the reverb. Sorry, excuse me. I'll turn up the delay so you can kind of hear the difference. So you can add delay, you could add reverb, you could add distortion, you could add chorus, whatever.
Just think of it. It creates a signal, and anything that can affect the signal chain can affect the signal chain of a ukulele.
Exactly.
It seems to be that because of the plucking of the ukulele, it's so percussive that delays and reverbs really respond well to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like trips it off really well.
Yeah, because I'll show you an example here. If I turn it off, it's really dry, And then back in the early 20th century, a lot of guys were playing, really, really fast, strummy, rhythms like. Guys like Tiny Tim were kind of doing that really busy strumming technique. So it's a very percussive instrument too. If you approach it that way, and then when you add effects, you could you could cover a whole different soundscape with delay and reverb and all that.
Well, I'm going to have you do a song here now, and I want to just remind everybody that the songs that we're discussing are available on Fender Play, so I'm sure you'll be inspired to check them out after this show. Now, sometimes playing a song written on the guitar or written for the guitar on the uke can give us some different sonic options and give that song a new sound, a new feeling. So I think this is a great example of what you're doing. You're going to do some Radiohead for us, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
It's great. It's like
Beat by Radiohead.
a combination of Coco and Lilo and Stitch for all the Disney fans out there, or the Pixar fans.
Yeah.
That was beautiful, and in some ways the song is either a lullaby or it's even creepier than the original.
Right. I mean, it's just a different vibe. It's a lighter, more delicate sound than a guitar. So if you're going for that sound, or if you want to have that option, of having a sound that's kind of just more intimate, you could just pick up a uke and play the same chords and have that sound.
Yeah. And now we have a couple more questions here. S.J. Watson wants to know, how about using a pick on a uke?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So before I picked up the ukulele as a kid, I was playing guitar, and I was playing rock and heavy metal. So I was playing with a pick a lot. Mm-hmm. And then years later, when I picked up the ukulele, I actually because I was learning how to improvise, I wanted to play all these fast runs. So I didn't really have my finger technique developed. So I started playing with a pick. And then the more I played, the more ukulele players I met. I realized, that's kind of it's not a big no-no. I'd say it's more like frowned upon, But also not only that, with the uke, and because it's nylon strings, you get a better sound with your fingers. So you kind of get that warm, nice, big sound.
Well, and now this.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh no. So I'm not against it, but I highly suggest playing with your fingers, even if you're doing picking stuff or strumming. I highly recommend just kind of using your fingers.
Well, this kind of leads us to the next question coming in from Patrick O'Brien. Do I need fingernails for picking?
I don't have fingernails. Yeah. I've developed this technique where I'm playing with all the pads of my fingers, even when I'm doing picking. But I have a lot of ukulele friends of mine do grow out their nails. Sometimes they grow out their thumbnail and they use that as a pick. Some of them grow out their index fingernail and then they use that as a pick. So whatever you're comfortable with,
Gotcha. And Garrett Lenoir is asking, do you need a special amp for the ukulele?
Well, if you want to plug it in, you make sure that you have a pickup installed in your ukulele. So that's the first thing before you buy an amp. Make sure that there's a pickup. For an amp, again, there's so much out there, so many options, a lot of great options. I guess the first thing I'd recommend getting an acoustic amplifier, as opposed to something that's more geared towards an electric instrument.
Oh, okay, good. That's interesting. For some reason, for any particular reason why an amp made for acoustic guitar works that way, or just
not
it just
the best with the gear specs.
It
but
just does.
Yeah, there are amps that are designed specifically for acoustic instruments.
And uke is an acoustic instrument, so
yes,
the logic follows.
Yeah.
Well, let's put this. There's a lot of tips, a lot of great info, and let's put it all together. You've shown us so many cool things. Can you show us something that you created on your own?
Sure, yeah. So here's a song that I wrote. And it's called, let's get tuned up here. It's a song that I wrote called End of the Road.
Take it away.
All right.
It's unbelievable.
Thanks, thank
So
you.
good. That was so good. Abe, when I grow up, listen to me. When I grow up, I want to be just like you. You understand? Kelly Williamson says, "Oh my goodness, beautiful song."
Oh, thank you.
I
Thank
think
you,
Kelly's
Kelly.
got it right. More questions, many questions, great questions coming up. You have definitely ignited something out there, Abe. Sherry Hoyer wants to know if you can explain. Oh, I love this question. A bit of chord melody playing, the basics. I'd love to do a
Ooh.
whole episode on this, but if you can, like, and especially on uke, like how do you chord melody playing on uke? Go.
The I guess the first step is find a song that you could play where you could play the melody, within the first 3 or 5 frets. That'll get you started, So, and in order to play the melody, you need to have a sort of basic understanding of scales. For example, if the song is in the key of F, let's take "You Are My Sunshine" again. So I did it in the key of F because it sits real nicely on the instrument, and I'm only playing from the first fret to the 5th fret. So you could hear the F scale. So sing the melody and then see if you could kind of just transfer it over to the instrument.
So find that melody and look for chord shapes along that melody. Grab them.
Exactly. Yeah. So for example, F, you could play B flat, C, and then when you get more comfortable, then you can move up a little bit higher up on the fretboard.
Exactly. Also, and do you consider the ukulele something that's easy to learn?
I think so. Yeah. I taught myself, so so you could do it too. And if you need resources, check out the Fender Play. There's a lot of there's a promotion going on. It's free for 3 months, so please check it out.
Thank you for mentioning that.
A lot of good material on there.
So here's the final thought. Why do you think people should learn the ukulele? Ukulele. I'm going to learn how to say it. I'm going to say it properly.
Ukulele.
Ukulele.
It's fun. It's fun. It's charming. It has a very, even if you've never played or people who have never heard it, I see it happen all the time where they hear it and they're like, oh, what's that? It kind of. Right, it's hard not to like the sound of the uke because it's so light and so gentle, and it just has a charm, to it. A lot of it has to do with the nylon strings, so it's really really easy on the ears, I guess. 4 strings, it's small, it's portable. You could bring it, everywhere. It is acoustic, so you don't need to plug it in all the time. So it's music on the go, really.
Yeah, and mostly very affordable as instruments go. I mean, you don't have to really sink a whole lot of money into gear. You get one pretty affordable, and it's pretty portable. And I guess I mentioned on a previous show, I have a 13-year-old daughter, and Lord knows there's been guitars laying around the house since birth. No interest whatsoever. She grabs a ukulele. She's on the couch. She gets a book, and she's playing tunes like that. And so she has strum hand, fret hand coordinations happening. All those things are, and so it's a really good way to get into playing music at all. And it's a really lovely instrument to do so. So, Abe, sure. As you know, we assign homework on this show.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hand it over to you since you're the master teacher here.
Okay.
So assign some homework to our community.
All right. So if you've never played before and you want to start playing, learn a few chords. I guess the first few chords that most people learn on the ukulele are C. Kind of looks like this. C. One finger. Another chord is A minor. That's another chord you could check out. And then a 2-finger chord F. And then when you get those 3 chords down, you could do a G7, which uses 3 fingers. And you could play it in that order. C, A minor, F, G7. Okay. If that's too easy for you, if you already know those chords, maybe add a strumming pattern to it. And play in tempo. And try to keep a nice steady rhythm. Practice with a metronome, things like that. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, things like that. And I guess if you could do that, if that's real easy for you, maybe you could take those same chords and add a finger picking pattern on your right hand. So something like, combine it with strumming. So it's not only on the left hand you could do things. There's a lot of picking, strumming combinations that you could do on the right hand as well.
That's wonderful. And the ukulele sounds beautiful when it's arpeggiated like that.
Yeah,
with that little picking pattern. It really kind of breaks it up. I think that's fantastic. Thank you so much. So yes, everybody grab a ukulele, start there, grab those few lessons right there that Ed just mentioned. Go to the site. It's all there. It's free for the first 3 months right now. So no excuses, people. Pick up a uke and start playing.
Yeah, do it.
Now, next up, please welcome, we have the curriculum guru himself. Welcome, Dylan Caligiuri. Oh, Dylan.
Hey,
Dylan.
Wow, Abe. Oh my gosh. I'm really glad you shared with us that you have roots in metal and punk rock, because the metal is strong with this one, folks. It's strong.
It's still in me.
But Dylan,
Yes.
Dylan, I can't, now when he played his song, "The End of the Road," I thought I knew what was happening in the song, and then it starts going into places that I had not guessed, and it started to remind me of flamenco, which I didn't see that coming. And and Abe, as you're playing, I'm thinking, why didn't I ever make the connection? Nylon strings, really fast drum hand. Yes,
Right.
why wouldn't these flamenco-like flourishes?
Again,
happen
a
on
very percussive instrument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was Dylan, and I was watching you watch Abe, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm
I
sorry.
did some interpretive dancing, and it was a sight to see. I'll put it up on the site. You guys can enjoy it.
Oh, great.
Oh,
Yeah, I
it's a
missed it.
sight.
I can't wait.
All right, Dylan, take it away, buddy.
Okay, well, you know what? For anybody that hasn't watched the show before, gosh, this is a really great one, because obviously Abe is just stupendously talented. Another great part about the show, though, is we give away something every week, and that in itself is a pretty great thing. So it's called the Fender Play Giveaway, and it's for, if you don't know what it is, I'm going to give you a quick rundown. Basically, it's each week we give away a piece of gear to a lucky Fender Play subscriber who at least has 3 7-minute sessions or 1 streak using Fender Play. So they get to pick from guitar, an amp, or a ukulele. All kinds of gear on there that they get to pick from. It's a great thing to get involved in. It's a great way to give a reward for using the program. And would you guys like to hear who won this week?
Yes, absolutely. Please.
Okay, can you give me a little bit of uke, like kind of give me some of that? There we go. That's it. All right, this week's winner is Jason C. Jason C.
Beautiful, wonderful. Congratulations to you, Jason. Enjoy your new guitar, bass, amp, whatever it is you choose. Now, Dylan, before we get to some updates, can you tell us what you're playing, and can we hear it in action?
Oh, yeah. This is a little undeniable, isn't it? I mean, you really can't go without at least...
It's the red elephant in the room, yeah.
It is. And this is the Exotic Wood Acoustasonic. Everyone, eat your heart out. This guitar is amazing. This is actually, honestly, when this came to the studio, me and the studio manager, Derek, we literally... There was some drooling that happened. It wasn't pretty. But the guitar is. Yeah, it was embarrassing. So we've got the double Rosetta. I mean... I wish you could feel this guitar. I'll play it for you, but I wish you could feel it.
Okay.
So
help us feel it.
So it needs so much more time than that, and there's just so much going on here, and maybe one of the most important things is you can tell that there was a lot of work put into crafting this, and it's a little bit of a spellbinding situation every time I pick it up. So I don't want to go on too long about it, but I already have.
Well, you played it beautifully. Now give us some updates, buddy.
Okay, so big stuff this week. Okay, we just launched a brand new interactive feature on Fender Play. It's called the Chord Challenge. So switching between chords is one of the hardest parts of playing or learning guitar, but once you get that skill down, you can literally unlock thousands of songs, right? Now, the Chord Challenge is a fun and easy way to help you practice this crucial skill. So you're going to pick a pre-selected or custom chord progression and then set the time limit and the tempo that's built in with the timer and metronome, and then see how many chord transitions you can get before your time is up. You save your high score, and you're going to try to beat it the next time around. So it's a really fun and easy way to work on chord switching. And at any level, this never ends. This whole chord switching thing, fall in love with it, folks, because it's not going away. I actually set one up today. I'll show you what I did. So already messed up. So it's never going to end. And literally, when I'm practicing that, I'm using this same technique that we built out on the app. This is it. This is where the juice is at, folks.
Some will start with baby steps. You, of course, start with giant steps.
Oh.
Now, if you look at this, it's really cool. Yeah, we just put this up today, and I took a look at it. And if somebody has started guitar, if you've got like a guitar buddy, you know, like a part, you know, someone you're studying along with, make a game of it. Try and beat each other's high score. And then you can, like you said, you can set up your own chords. When it gets to the higher levels, there's chord extensions, cool, like add twos and stuff like that. But and believe me, a lot of these chord changes that are arranged, they're very, very applicable to just so many songs. It really is the step to playing through songs. So this is a really, really cool thing that's going out there. So have fun with it. Yeah, make a game of it.
Well said, Eugene. Well said indeed. So we're going to save the high score. We just launched it today, so you can find it on the website, and you can also get the iPhone or Android app as well. So make sure you check it out.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dylan. And we've come to the end of the show, the end of the road, if you will. Thank you so much, Abe. I have genuinely enjoyed this so much. And
my pleasure.
You've really, really opened up that instrument. My eyes and ears are never going to be the same. Do you have anything you'd like to plug?
If you guys are interested in checking out my music, visit my website, abelagrimasjr.com. I've got music, I've got instructional books, and just all kinds of really cool merch. So please check it out.
Abe's the guy, everybody. Check him out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will be out next week for the Thanksgiving holidays, but we're back on December 2nd with another fun episode. Everybody, please keep safe, keep practicing, and we'll see you next time. Everybody, play out on a G chord. Abe, go nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4.